That morning, the sunlight gently touched every small street Mia walked along. But in her heart, everything felt like it was covered by a thin mist, half bright, half shadowed. Standing in front of the towering glass building of the bank, she felt as small as a grain of sand lost in a vast desert. The structure loomed tall, its glass walls shining in the sunlight, and inside, everything seemed to move at a different rhythm, fast, precise, and filled with confidence. She had never stepped into a place like this before, where even the sound of footsteps on the marble floors seemed to remind her, this is a place for the strong. But Mia didn't step back. She took a deep breath, the automatic glass doors slid open, and she walked in. The air inside was cool, lightly scented with essential oils, but for Mia, every step she took felt heavy, her heart pounding like it might break. Her eyes scanned the space, neat rows of chairs, polished counters, and staff in crisp uniforms with gentle smiles but focused eyes. This was a workplace she had only ever seen on a screen, now alive and real before her, vibrant and intimidating. Mia followed the signs to the interview waiting area, where a few people were already seated. They looked young, sharp, and seemed completely at ease in this environment. She gave a polite nod and found a seat, her hands clutching her folder so tightly that her fingers turned pale. Inside, a quiet voice kept asking, "How can I compare to them? Am I too late to start now?" Time moved slowly. She opened her folder, her eyes scanning the words she had written, the skills, the experiences, the effort she had poured into preparing. But everything blurred before her eyes, leaving only a vague anxiety. Would anyone see her true worth? The first name was called. A young man stood up, smiling with confidence, and walked into the interview room. The door closed and silence returned, tense and heavy. Mia lowered her head, quietly repeating the answers she had prepared, the questions she had practiced. Yet everything seemed less certain now. Every second that passed, her heart grew heavier. The second, third, then fourth person were called in and came out. Some smiled brightly, eyes gleaming with pride. Others shook their heads, lips pressed tight, fists clenched as if they couldn't accept the outcome. These images unsettled Mia. She didn't know who she would be, someone who smiled or someone who left disappointed. I just need to give it my best, she reminded herself. No matter the result, as long as I don't give up. But her heart still trembled with fear. Fear of failing. Fear of disappointing her husband again. Fear that she wasn't strong enough to face this challenge. Suddenly, a woman in a black suit stepped out from the room. Her eyes scanned the crowd and landed on Mia. "Mia, please take this test," the woman said, handing her a paper and a pen. "You have 10 minutes. Mia stood, bowed slightly, and took the paper before sitting at a desk. Her heart thudded loudly. The questions before her were about software testing, the area she knew best. Yet strangely, the words seemed foreign. She couldn't remember anything. Her hands trembled slightly and her chest tightened. Why am I blanking out now? She felt like she was falling into a deep hole, everything fading and unclear. This is my strongest skill. How could I possibly fail to impress right where I should shine the most? She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, slow and steady, trying to find calm again. An image came to her mind. It was her husband, his eyes full of trust, his gentle smile, and his familiar words. "You can do it, as long as you believe in yourself." Mia opened her eyes, her hands no longer shaking. Her thoughts started to clear. The knowledge returned, piece by piece, like an old friend. She began to write, slowly at first, then faster, more confidently, Line after line flowed from her mind, her logic sharp, her answers firm. She forgot about everything else. Only the paper in front of her mattered. Ideas poured out like a river, unstoppable. Then suddenly, her name was called again. Mia looked up, startled. The same woman stood there, her eyes slightly stern. "Your time is up. Why didn't you hand in your test on time?" The voice wasn't harsh, but firm enough to make Mia flustered. I'm so sorry," Mia stammered, quickly handing over the paper. "I was too focused. I didn't notice the time." The woman nodded, said nothing more, and gestured for Mia to enter the interview room. Inside, 2 interviewers were waiting, their expressions serious. They glanced at her test briefly before asking, "Please tell us about your experience in software testing." Mia straightened her back, trying to stay calm. She began sharing about the projects she had worked on, the challenges she had faced, and how she had solved them. Her voice was shaky at first, but gradually her honesty brought her strength. She didn't try to sound perfect. She spoke her truth. The interviewers asked more, digging deeper into technical details. Mia answered with everything she had, openly admitting what she didn't know, but always showing her eagerness to learn. "I understand that my experience may not fully meet the bank's standards, but I truly value this opportunity, and if I can work here, I will give everything I have to grow and not let anyone down." The interview ended, and Mia stepped out of that room, her heart heavy. She didn't know if she had done well or not, but at least she hadn't given up. She had fought with all she had, with belief and effort. Whatever the result, she knew she wouldn't regret it. As she walked home, Mia looked up at the sky, clouds slowly drifting like her feelings, floating between hope and worry. But deep inside, a small flame had been lit, a flame of resilience, of someone who dared to face fear to reach for her dream.